Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, anywhere there's going to be a clip of this or a live version thereof. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you all are having a great time out there. Hopefully, you all are staying safe. Just saw where a friend of ours got into a healthy accident. Uh, his wife did, and she's doing okay, but they did have to rush her to the hospital with an open compound fracture of the right leg and ankle. So she's going to be doing some rehab, which is never fun by any stretch of the imagination. And Rex just shouldn't happen. Good morning, Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth, buddy. And so yeah, that's how I started my day, was finding out about the wreck for her, which is no bueno. So hopefully you all are doing good and staying safe out there. We're going to be talking about whatever I put on my post. A friend of mine, his wife got hit by a red light runner, and all the witnesses luckily stuck around and helped her out, and she was rushed to the hospital. One guy even used an improvised tourniquet to stop the bleeding of her leg by grabbing the weather stripping from inside the door, ripping it off, and using it as a tourniquet for her leg. And so they said, had it impacted a different way, she probably would have lost her foot. So, what up, Ballerina Cajun? Welcome to the show. Choices is what we're talking about today, and we'll get into what that means here in a little bit. But right here, bum bum bum, this will not be opened by us here. Eventually, I'll get to show you guys this. This is my Evil Ernie cards. They are done. They are awesome. They're going back to the company. And you will be able to find these in box sets later on. The Evil Ernie set, which is right here. Evil Ernie, Hell Has Frozen Over, meaning that, as you see Coffin Comics down there, potentially is going to get the rights back to Evil Ernie to put into Coffin Comics, which would be cool, since that is basically Brian Paluto, who is the creator of that character, and that character is basically based off of him. The look, whenever he had his longer hair, uh, the leather jacket that he always wore, things like that. So when Stephen Hughes drew this up, he drew Brian Paluto as this character. And if you don't know who Evil Ernie is, go check him out. I don't have anything printed out here that will show you what he is or what he looks like, but he is a maniacal, worse than most of your villains out there when it comes to all kinds of stuff. So there you go. Let's see here. What else? Anything new happening around here besides buy my stuff? I'll go ahead and get the violation out of the way since it's going to come up anyway. Um, we've got unexpected bills popped up, so buy all the stuff that I've got available, which is pretty much everything that is available. But good morning. What up, Waylon? Welcome to the show. Um, so I'll go ahead and get that restriction out of the way because it's going to pop up anyway, no matter what I do. I can be talking about, comic books, and I can be talking about movies, and I still end up getting my restriction. And I haven't even told you guys to get the merch, you know. Oh, so I might as well go ahead and get that restriction up and out of the way. So I'm waiting for it to pop up. So just bear with me on that. Lots have been going on around here. From the free building materials, so I can continue to work on the homestead, which the tin alone is worth the price of tearing down all of this uh, buildings that are free, because these 10 sheets are anywhere between 22 and 24 feet long, which getting them back to the house is proving to be a chore because I do not have a trailer that long. So I'm getting ready to build a jig for my truck, and I'll probably end up doing that today so I can get over there tomorrow and start tearing more down and bringing home the 10 that I've already taken down from the third building, because I've taken 3 structures all the way down so far. I've left some good wood still there that I'm going to pick up, and I told the homeowners that, there won't be a mess left, and there won't be. Everything will be neatly piled up and cleaned up whenever I get done. So, and that's how it's going to be. The next building is at least 80 plus feet long by, if I had to guess, I'd say about 20 foot wide. Potentially, I'd have to do some measurements on that, but it's roughly 80 by 20, if you will. And everything is used or made out of first cut cedar or pine, not cedar. I keep saying cedar because there is some cedar in there, but mainly it's pine. And it's the rough cut stuff. Even the 2x4s are rough cut, so they're not your typical 2x4 that you see, which is a lot smaller than a true 2x4 that they used to make back in the day. When they used to hand cut this stuff themselves. So that's good. That's going to make my awning above my porch in the backyard that I built already even better. So once I get all that wood here, that's my next project, is putting the awning over the back porch, over the back door. And that way, everybody's protected. The pigs can sleep up on the porch if they want to. They can get out of the rain easier, all that good stuff. So, looking forward to that. I've already got the plan made. It's 25 foot long by 7 foot wide, and that's going to be a hefty chore of just lifting that above my head, if you will. Which I've got plans for all of that stuff. And that's one things we don't talk about here is, what is it, Casey? What don't we talk about here? No Pope, no Trump. We don't talk about religion, and we don't talk about politics, because once you open up those can of worms, people start losing their damn minds over the whole thing. So there you go. And you can do all that stuff you want to. I have no problems with that. But we don't talk about it here. There are channels specifically for that. So there you go. Lots of stuff is moving. Lots of stuff is happening. I'm hoping to offload a bunch of my Walking Dead cards. Someone inquired about them today after I posted them all up. Lowest price of the season on all of these beautiful cards, from what I have left of my very first set, which was my worst set of all. What's this? The Road to Alexandria? No, this was Walking Dead Evolutions. This was my first set back in 2017 that I ever did. Worst card set I ever did. My very first set. Because I didn't know what I was doing when it came down to it. I saw other artists creating uh, license cards for bum bum bum, Topps AMC. These are vintage. These are 2017. Walking Dead has only been around for a short bit. And these are all the sets I've worked on. Set here. Well, there's a set missing because all of those cards sold. This is the first set I worked on, Evolution. This is the Road to Alexandria, I believe. Yep, Road to Alexandria, right there. Boom, boom, boom. Just have a few cards of that set left. There's a set missing because I've done at least, well, two sets missing because I've done at least 5 different sets with The Walking Dead. And then this one is, not sure which set this one was, but this one was 2018. I did 2 sets in 2018, two in 2017, and one in 2000. No, three in 2018. I did 3 Walking Dead sets in 2018. But this one was the best set of them all. There were some good cards out of this one, like Shiva here. That one was one of my better cards. With that, because King Ezekiel was okay in this set because I was starting to get it down as far as what worked best over here. Just like the death of Herschel, right there with the sword. Michonne's sword to his neck from the mayor. And then Michonne, right there. But then this set was my best set of them all. If they have red, they did not make it through the show. Tyrone, Fat Joey. He's a cool dude. Hooves, can't remember what his first name is, but he tried to sell this card on his social media platforms as well. But as you see, I still have it. But he thought it was very cool, and I did. I did probably 5 different cards of his that made it into the sets. You got the right hand man to Negan, right there. Also, Grand Theft Auto. You got Maggie. If they're blue, they're still alive. And Negan. Of course, Negan's still alive. So there you go. Those are all up for grabs as well. I just posted all of these cards here recently. My Stranger Things licensed official Netflix tops. Boom, boom, boom. Stranger Things with Will. Right there. Crying Will. Because that seems like he always all did. 11 getting her hair. Hopper. Demogorgon. Boom, boom, boom. And of course, 11 in the dress. Boom, boom. The Demogorgon has been everybody's favorite when it comes to these cards. But nobody's taken it off my hands yet. And then, of course, Dawn. Joseph Michael Linsner's Dawn. Official 30th anniversary cards for that back in 2021. Right there. And right there. You see her bustier. Got skulls in it. And then, of course, with these cards, I jacked this all up because it was like we weren't supposed to draw Lady Death, but I drew Lady Death. But these are the official Chaos because that was Chaos back in the day. Was Lady? See, there's my restriction. I'm telling you to buy stuff outside the TikTok shop. This time I am. So I'm going to appeal the restriction, even though it's not going to take because I am talking about it right now. Buy my merchandise outside the TikTok shop because I do not sell on the TikTok shop. So back in the day, back in the 90s, whenever Chaos Comics hit the scene, Lady Death, Purgatory, Chastity, Evil Ernie, Cremator. They had another character that was a homage to Evil Ernie, but he had flesh, and but he wore a leather jacket and had the hair. So whenever I drew up these cards, I drew up Lady Death. Well, they were like, nope, got to change that into Lady Demon, who was an exact replica of Lady Death, just with red skin and horns. So all of these I had to change into Lady Demon. But these I just kept as my AP cards, artist proofs. So there you go. I've got a ton more licensed blank cards that are sitting around, which are in this little box right here. All these are licensed cards of sets that I've worked on over the years. Evil Ernie gets to make his presence known and felt in here. And if you want to know what else I've worked on, I do work on Magic the Gathering cards, the blank ones, to make your lore cards. If you don't know what a lore card is, go look it up. Of course, we already saw the Dawn. Some of these I'm going to wipe out completely. I'm going to take and paint over the top because some of them I just didn't like. This puzzle card was pretty cool, I thought anyway. Dun, dun, dun. And many, many more. There's some that I'm just going to wipe out completely because just didn't like them. And it was just like, no, they just need to be wiped out completely. So I'm going to paint over the top of a lot of these. Probably all of them, except for that first one you just saw. And redo them all. Let's see, we've worked on the Avengers metal cards, sketch cards by Skybox. Of course, you just saw the Chaos cards. These are the blank versions thereof, so I still have a few of those that are blank. The Dynamite, which was their zombie version, just like Marvel Zombies, right here. Again, blank fronts with the logo on the front. Two different Red Sonja sets, the 50th anniversary and She Devil. So you got this one with a blank front. And then you've got the She Devil with the logo front. You've also got Chasing Amy. Yes, the popular Kevin Smith movie with Chasing Amy on the front. And the AP, which is artist proof, silver foil logo on the front right there. Again, by Skybox. Vault Tech by Fallout. Popular video game series, now a series on Netflix, I believe. It's got a typical front, like they always do, with the little logo on the front. Transformers. Right there. Blank front. And then this one was just a funsy thing. It's by Artist Choice. Viceroy. Viceroy cards. You already saw the Evil Ernie. But this is a super thick card. Love these cards. Best ones to paint on. Do all kinds of cool stuff with. Just because they are like 3 cards in one. That's how thick they are. But very well done. It's got a embossed spot back here, so all of this is inset into the card. All this lettering and scroll work, but very well done cards. I love these cards. And then my very favorite set that I've worked on so far for this, besides Evil Ernie. Evil Ernie is, not my childhood because I was in my 20s when it came out. And meeting the guys in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, a couple of different other places back in the 90s was pretty cool. My autograph box is back there that has their autograph on it and things like that, but was and is this blank card set right here. Puppet Master. The 35th anniversary of Puppet Master as well. This was a very awesome card set, especially whenever they use your cards in the video to do the whole Kickstarter. So I was watching their promo for their Kickstarter, and as they were getting it started for the box sets, I'm like, those are my cards. Those are my cards. You know, they had several of my cards lined out, splayed out, you know, just like this across the deal, and you could see all the face cards, and you could see, you know, my cards just laid out there. So that was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool that they thought that highly of them that they went ahead and put them in their promo video. So there you go. Again, lots of artwork coming down the pike. Lots of stuff happening. Not just on, you know, your typical artwork side. Yes, this is someone wanted a Chat GPT thingy, mabob, whatever it's. I don't even know what the hell it's called. Um, but if you know what Chat GPT is, I don't use it. I don't give a shit. Um, this is of a friend of mine, Patrick Hickey, right here. This is his. He is a writer and a voice actor, and I'm surprised he did this for himself, but he got bored, he said, and did it. So this is what ChatGPT does. It takes your image, as you can see, all these are his images and face and all that good stuff, and creates what your life is like based off of your social media platform, I guess. And like it says, writer, voice actor, he's a professor, he's a husband, he's a father, comic book writer, and historian. So, and then it gives all these little details about his life on this, and millions upon millions of people did this. Well, this person wanted to do that, but she didn't want ChatGPT to do it, so she had me do it. So I looked over thousands upon thousands of ChatGPTs just to get an idea of what the fuck it was all about, and this is what I came up with for her. So there you go. So that's one of the another commission that's in the works. Getting ready to have another commission this week for another book cover, another novel of another friend of mine. So it's going to be cool. It's a really well thought out book, and hopefully he does real raggy. Hopefully he does well with it, and I don't see why he wouldn't. Sour Worlds is out. Sour Worlds 2 is getting ready to hit. Sour Worlds 3 is in the works, which is Calamity. I don't know what his second book title is right off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But I've signed books because he did a raffle giveaway on those where you could buy tickets to win the set of books plus some posters. So that's cool. He's got a whole website built up already with AI generated bullshit, but he knows I'm not an AI generated guy. And I'm reworking his logo, his Sour Worlds logo, and we'll go from there. This is a very old, an older piece. This is 4 years old, no, 5 years old now. Of James Stokes. He is an actor. This is his portrayal on the left side over here of Jason Voorhees, because he's been in 2 or 3 different fan films of Jason Voorhees himself. And on the right side over here, my right, your left, this is him, you know, as he would look without all the prosthetic makeup and all that good stuff. And it is signed by him. When I met him again, when I saw him again at a convention, comic book convention, he went ahead and signed it for me. And there were prints made of that available for a basically Kickstarter program that was made for getting some films made by a local director, Jason Pitts. So there is that. Let's see here. Dynamite label right there. So I can get those shipped back. I'm going to, in fact, put all that right over there. Dun, dun, dun. What else we got going on? What else we got going on? All right. Now, I'm at a little bit of a crossroads with this piece right here. The person is slowly chipping away on the payments with it. Very, very painful, this piece. It's a well done piece. Great piece. But the person keeps chipping away very, very slowly at the payment. On the flip side, I could refund the person their money and have this thing pretty much probably sold already. What would you do? Would you refund the original person their money, which isn't much, and sell it to another person? Or would you just let them keep chipping away at the price, which should have been paid for a long time ago? Considering this was started in February, I didn't see my first payment on it until May. And then it's been one tiny payment after another and not consecutive. So, what would you do in that situation? Please let me know. There's wise wisdom people running around out there watching this show right now. What would you do? Of course, I got to add color to me as Wolverine right there. Boom, boom, boom. And then all the other cool stuff that we got going on, which I've got to get. I got to start busting the hump on these. Um, we'll start with book two's character. Well, book one and book two's characters for Sour Worlds. This is the Knot. Think Man Thing, Swamp Thing, Lord of the Rings, living tree, smoke coming out of his pores and skin, all that goody good stuff. This is my rendition of the character. Then the Harrow, which is in book two. Metal wings, rusted razor wire coming out, wrapped around his wrist and coming out of his hands. And then on to characters I didn't even know existed until this year. So that's 4 years ago when they came out. I'd go ahead and finish the deal and never deal with him again. I get that. And trust me, if he doesn't have money up front on any project, he will never be dealt with again. And I'm sure he's feeling the same way after I've busted his chops a few times. Not in real terms, but through the phone. The Harley Who Laughs, got to get her inked up. This is one rendition where she's got a solid metal mask with the diamonds from the playing cards that are normally on her outfit. The spikes are coming out of her skin in this rendition. The other rendition, she's got a knife mask, and the spikes are in her outfit and on her mask and in her little whatever those are at the end of the jester's hat. They're like a mace ball at the end of the jester hat. And yes, she does have a forked tongue in both versions. And basically, they did her as a counterpart to the Batman Who Laughs. Right there. And I'm experimenting with adding more in depth detail in the background as well than just having plain Jane white backgrounds like I have in all of my previous other pictures and things like that. Even on the Evil Ernie cards back here, I did more intricate backgrounds and on to our horror series. Of course, Ghostface, one of the more popular horror villains of this generation. You got Freddy, and yes, they all have a common theme, this blood swoop that's going through them all now. All the way through. Number 3 in this series is already sold. That was Jason Voorhees. I need to put a color version of it in here so you guys can see what it looked like. Number 4, and I realized that I've drawn all these characters before, but it's been a very, very long time. It was back in 2017, 2018, somewhere in that range, that I did 365 days of art, which means I drew a piece of artwork every day of the entire year for 365 days. And as I was looking through some of those pictures that I found way back when, I realized that I had drawn some of these characters already. So whenever I said it was my first time drawing them, that was a lie. Thanks, Maury. Good job, Maury. If you don't know who Maury is, go look him up. Maury Povich. Pumpkinhead here. Got to get all these inked up and colored up. And then the last one so far is Candyman. 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 I ain't afraid. But this one is going to have the blood swoop plus honeybees inside of this one, because that is one of the ways he was taken out, was by being doused and honey poured on him for the bees to come and get him. All right. So, with all that being said, today's title, what did I say it was? Choices? Something like that. Had a guy. I commented on a TikTok video about a server who she had worked an 18-hour shift, very little tips in that 18 hours. I was kind of disappointed for the people that were giving her tips. I think she made like $32 in tips in 18 hours, which is absolutely nothing in 18 hours. And I put on there that I work 20 hours sometimes. And somebody comes on there, some dude comes on there, is like, that's impossible. I'm like, really? Huh. It's impossible that I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, do my artwork until I roll around into the homesteading chores, which could take up the majority of the day, which means tending to the chickens, tending to the geese, tending to the ducks, tending to the fish pond, tending to the pigs, tending to the domesticated animals, the dogs, the cats, tending to the rats. Yes, we have 3 rats in the house. They're old boys, so they don't have much longer to lifing, you know. To tending to the small flock of chickens that we have inside and the 2 baby geese that are inside as well, which means taking them out to a enclosure that's in the yard where they can roam free and get their, their big boy exercise, big girl exercise, if you will. And then building any projects that need to be done or fixed around the homestead or house. That's taking some lunch break in there. That's taking a potty break in there, if you will. That is, and that has nothing to do with leaving the house, period. And then if I'm doing the teardown section, well, I work 6 hours on those projects because I want to get it done as quickly as possible, but as efficiently as possible as well. Then, once the girlfriend gets home, I let her do her thing, which is decompress from work because she's worked an 8 hour shift, 9 hours with the lunch in there. And from there, she'll help me with some things around the house, but I just tell her just, hey, just chill, do what you want, watch your TV, take your bath, all that good stuff, while I'm still working outside or doing artwork in the office. Because once I get some of my homesteading stuff done, I come back in here because I've got projects that I've got to finish. Well, then you start to wind down for the day. Dinner happens. Then you go into getting ready for bed. And by that point in time, it could be 9, 10 o'clock at night. Okay, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You go to bed, you get into bed at 10 o'clock at night. You don't fall asleep until 10:30, 11. You do the math. If you go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 3, that's 4 hours of sleep. And I explained all that in my paragraph to him. And he comes back, there's no way you can do that for days on end, working on 2 to 3 hours of sleep. Bitch, you want to bet? I do it practically every day. Does it suck only getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep? Absolutely. Does it suck getting 4 hours of sleep? Absolutely. I know people that go to sleep and don't wake up for 12 hours. I don't even know how the fuck that's possible. I've never been that way. I've never slept for 12 hours. If I did, I was sick or something. But I know there's people that have to do that for themselves. Me, I'm great on 3, 4 hours of sleep. I have no issues. Is it healthy for the body? Absolutely not. You need that recouping time. But for the past 4 years straight, 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep is what I get. Am I tired? Absolutely. If I sit down, do I start to nod off? Absolutely. So I'm back up. But for somebody to come in and say that that's not possible, it can't be done, well, it's not you, is it? So if it's not you, then it's not possible, right? That's the differing of opinions that people have. If it's not what they're capable of, then it can't be done. And that's where you get so many arguments on stupid shit out there. That's why we don't talk about religion. That's why we don't talk about politics. Because if your opinion doesn't line up with the other person, then it's obviously wrong. When everybody has an opinion on something, it's just like take the new Supergirl movie that comes out tomorrow. So many people have already seen the pre screenings of it, the early advanced screenings of it. And they're already bashing the movie. Saying that she doesn't have the typical Supergirl look. I agree. Saying that her hair needs to be washed. I can agree with that. Saying that she's too short. I can agree with that. And then whatever villain they picked for the Supergirl, and it's not Lobo, he's an anti-villain. So I'm not sure what his real role is in the movie yet. I just know he's an antagonist in there. Jason Momoa playing Lobo. One of the better choices that they've made for Jason Momoa's character. Okay, I'm not a Jason Momoa fan at all. Could care less about him. My shirt's all got stuff on it. I could. I'm not a big fan of his acting. Never have been. Even with Game of Thrones, even with some of his earlier stuff than that. Eh. It's just he's just a big bulky guy. Congratulations, ladies, you get some eye candy. But they're bashing yet again another comic book movie and saying that the character, the main villain, was the most generic villain that they could come up with and throw into a movie. Which again, I don't know which character that is yet. I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen the trailers. I'm not sure exactly who they're fighting in the trailer. Oh, see, tired. So I cannot voice my opinion on which character that they used. Well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's just pull this up. Bum, bum, bum. Who is the villain in New Supergirl? Oh, okay. No wonder. Krim of the Yellow Hills. A ruthless, hardened criminal or mercenary responsible for the brutal murder of a 13-year-old girl's parents. The tragedy sets off a revenge plot that draws Kara Zor-El into a cosmic journey. Yeah, so I can understand why they are talking about the most generic villain ever in a movie. Um, and then other villains in the film, while Krim serves as the primary antagonist of the narrative. The film also features the cosmic bounty hunter Lobo, who acts as a secondary antagonist and crosses paths with Supergirl. We already knew that by the videos or the commercials and the trailers. But yeah, that is a the film is an adaptation of the acclaimed comic book series Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, and then she's drunk to boot. Um, so there's already a lot of flaws with the movie, and let me see here. I want to see. I want to see a little bit more about this Krim character. Krim of the Yellow Hills is an evildoer. Swordsmanship, archery, and magic. Those are his abilities and powers. What was his first appearance? Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So that's where his appearance came from. He's a pirate, a king's agent pirate, and a prisoner. Okay. So far, definitely not impressed. Yeah, definitely not impressed. Um. So yeah, I don't even know how I feel about this movie yet, and I haven't even seen it. It hasn't even come out yet. But just with that alone, that is that's a pretty uh, crappy. I was going to use another word, but that's a pretty crappy character for the first film. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. And I'm not hating on the movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that there could have been so much more potential. But I understand why Lobo's in it because he's chasing this guy who is a former prisoner, Krem. Kind of a name is Krem anyway. Creme de la creme. Oh my goodness. But there's going to be so much more intricate and interesting superhero movies coming out this year, next year. The Batman 2 comes out next year, sometime in 2027. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. No, get out of here. All right. So this year, you've got Supergirl coming out. We all know about that one. We just talked about that one. Spider Man Brand New Day comes out in July. You got Clayface coming out in September. Avengers Doomsday in December. So that's the next ones to look forward to. So I'm not sure which Batman they're going to incorporate with Clayface yet, or if they're. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be in there, but we don't know yet. So Spider-Man: A Brand New Day looks interesting, and there's a whole lot of speculation of who's all going to be in that one, such as Miles Morales, just by a shoe print on a table or a whatever he's sitting behind. But this is an evolution of his powers. His mind's been wiped, if you remember from the previous movie, No Way Home, when they did the memory wiping spell. And now there's got mysterious evolution of his powers and introduces the potent new enemies inside of this. And then Clayface, like I said, Avengers Doomsday, which we all know Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doomsday now, since he is no longer Tony Stark. He is now playing the villain. So there you go. And then in 2027, we're going to see a whole slew of new movies coming out. So in 2027, Spider Man, Beyond the Spider Verse, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, to go along with Supergirl, Batman Part 2, like I said, it comes out in October. Avengers Secret Wars, which was one of the greatest comic books ever. Introduced the black suit, Venom. Introduced so many things in those issues. Was it 8 or 12 issue miniseries? Maxi series, if you will. Um, and there's a lot more than what's just here because I'm going to go to the movie Insider. It's much better than the other one. So Secret Wars, you got one coming out in July of 2027, untitled Marvel film, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. I gotta let it catch up. So December, so this December, the other Marvel movie comes out, and then December of 2027, that's when Secret Wars comes out. Is that it? We're done. Everything is subject to change, as it says. See, they don't even have a comprehensive list. So I thought they were going to be better at what they had. Let's see what they have over here. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, get out of my face. Just get out of my face. Thank you. Okay, so they only have the same four that everybody else is talking about. Nobody's got a good comprehensive look because I know there's a lot more superhero movies coming out in 2027 than just these four. Because I've seen a big list, and there's a lot more than that coming out in 2027. And I know they've got their slate all the way out through like 2030 of what superhero movies are coming out and what projects are going to be worked on. And I look forward to a lot of these movies coming out because being a superhero fan, obviously, uh, you want to see some good adaptations of your childhood favorites, if you will, or just your favorite comic book characters in general. Now, I'm not a Superman fan. I'm not a Captain America fan. All this. Spider Man's okay. Not one of my favorites out there. Period. Um, but I watch the movies because I'm a comic fan in general, and I will give my opinion on the movies. Just like when I see Supergirl, I'll let you know my opinion on that. Just like when I see Masters of the Universe, which comes out, I think next week they said, and it gives you all of I think the extended cut, I think is what's coming out next week. On streaming services, I'm sure you're still gonna have to pay for it right off the bat. Now it could jump to HBO Max and be free there. I'm not 100% sure yet. So, but I'm kind of sad that that's the only list that they're only hitting the major factors, the major list of things right there, which is kind of comprehensive list of all the movies coming out that are superhero related um, within the next, what, 3 years. So from 27, 28, and 29, just to see what all is coming up. I think that would be cool. That could be cool. I know there's a lot of TV series and things like that based around superheroes and things of that nature as well. There's been a couple of new ones that I've seen come through that are, based off of, this type of thing, that type of thing. It's just like in the early, well, mid '90s to early 2000s, there was a lot of superhero movies or TV shows, like the X Mutants, based off the X Men. You had the New Mutants, which was out there for a short bit. 25.9 thousand likes and going strong. We are in the popular live category. We still did not win our appeal for our restriction, which I knew I wouldn't. So that's why I went ahead and got it out of the way. That's why our viewership is low right now, because once you get restricted, it doesn't push you out to the masses. So that's why when you get here, you're supposed to like, share, and follow. That way, if you're enjoying the show, other people can jump on board. There you go. Got birthdays coming up. My son's birthday's July 8th. The girlfriend's birthday's July 10th. So bittersweet, right there. She has taken off time for her birthday so that we can get some things done and she can have some downtime as well. So there's that. Um, I got to get hot and heavy on a bunch of stuff. I got to read more on this new novel that I'm going to be working on to get the character outlines done up. Um, but yeah, things are moving. I just need a bunch more sales of my merchandise that I have right now. All of my original artwork that I've got sitting around collecting dust needs to be in your hands, not mine. And that's from my paintings to hand drawn stuff, and commissions are open. So there you go. So there you go on that note. Let's see here. Bum, bum, bum. We've covered pretty much everything that we've got to discuss today. I think. Anything? I'm just looking because I usually have stuff laying here that I want to talk about 90% of the time. And I don't see anything new or pertinent that we haven't talked about right here already. Um, I think I'll also do a comprehensive list of my favorite comic book movies ever made. And that could be, and that's TV series as well. Especially seeing a bunch of that stuff as a kid, like the Captain America TV series, the Hulk TV series, Spider Man TV series, of course, that Batman TV series, the Adam West version. 1966. I wasn't around then when a lot of these came out and made their debut, uh, but some of you were, but just barely, but just barely. Um, so yeah, once the '70s rolled around, that's my jam, and anything in that era, of course, I would have had to have been, 5 or 6 before I started, you know, enjoying something as a toddler. So closer to 76, 77, 1977. Um, and from there, things just kicked off when it came to what I was into and liked. So, because right around 76, at 5 years old, that's when I started liking the Dallas Cowboys. saw a game on TV, couldn't pull me away from that TV set as I was watching the star on the helmet. And couldn't tell you who they were playing at the time, but that's how long I've been a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Since 1976. So there you go. All right, folks, we are going to kill it for today. You all have a great day. Love you too, buddy. You have a good day yourself, and I'm sure we'll chat again before the day is over with. But you all have a great day, and as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.